Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is the official podcast of the Vibrant Life community where I take members from stressed and depressed to abundant energy and joy on demand using a process that removes the emotional triggers that prevent us from being our most present, empathic, and thriving selves. We do this by going past the surface clutter of emotions and tapping into our core where joy and boundless energy await. I'm Sarah Nolan, and I'm super excited to be here with you today talking about setting healthy boundaries for high achievers. And so far this week, we talked about setting healthy boundaries with relationships, with time, our finances. What else do we talk about? Relationships, time, finances. What was the other one? Hold on one second. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about setting healthy boundaries with our space, like the space around us, not outer space, but our present personal space. And this is so important for high achieving business owners because our space is our zone. And if our space is cluttered, then we become cluttered. And what's really interesting is that our inner space and our outer space or our internal space and the space around us is really a reflection of each other. And so when one improves, the other improves as a result of that. So we're actually going to talk about both things tonight because they are reflections of each other. So first, I'd love to know, can you see me and hear me okay? How does the sound in the sound in the video look? And just let me know where you're coming in from. I love to see where you guys are coming from. Hey, Laura. Hey, Dana. All right, so tell me if the audio is okay. It looks okay over here. Okay, awesome. So beautiful. Thank you. So like I was saying, your inner world and your outer world are reflections of each other. So if you find yourself feeling really stressed or disorganized or cluttered inside, then that can be a result from how cluttered your outer world is, or that can be a contributing factor. And then if your outer world is cluttered, like your office space, your house, your kitchen, your bedroom, your closet, if those things are cluttered, that can be a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So it's this continuous cycle that, they both feed each other. So the beautiful thing about this process is that when you improve one, it has a direct effect on the other. So for some people to start out, it's easier to address the outside, and then that gives some relief to the inside, gives you some space, it gives you some relief on the inside to do that inner work as well. So what I recommend is to start with one or the other, but then ultimately work on both at the same time. So, while you're working on your outer world, do that inner work as well. And you're going to find both start becoming easier and improving more quickly. And it's going to last. It's like, have you ever had this happen where you completely overhaul your house? Or say you move into a new house, you get rid of everything, and within months of living in that new house, everything goes back to the way it was in the old house. You start accumulating more stuff. You start, everything just becomes super messy and cluttered as it was in the old place. And that's because the house wasn't the factor. It was what's inside of you that was the factor. That's the consistent factor, right? So that's why it's important to do both at the same time. What is it? Marie Kondo, she had, I think, a reality show on Netflix or something about decluttering. She had her book as well. And she talks about asking that question, does this bring me joy? You hold up an item and you look at it and say, does this bring me joy? And I love, that's a great place to start. But I don't think that it really fixes that big picture with your space, because it goes beyond just what brings me joy, because life isn't just about joy. It's not just about happiness. There's that yin and yang, there's the light and the dark. And some stuff in your house isn't just going to be about joy, it's going to be about other things. So I have a better question, or in my opinion, a better question that you can ask. This is going to be more effective at making sure that you are setting the proper boundaries in your house or in your space. So this question, you might want to write this down. Does this help me thrive? Does this help me thrive? There are going to be some things in your house, in your fridge, in your closet that don't bring you joy, right? They don't bring you joy, but they do help you thrive. And the more you do them and accept them and just kind of push yourself a little bit to utilize those things, eventually you'll start getting the rewards of the thriving from them, and then it will bring you joy. But not everything is going to give you joy in the moment. So in my mind, that's kind of a silly question to ask when you're prioritizing your stuff. So instead of asking, does this bring me joy, or does it spark joy, ask, does this help me thrive or bring me closer to my goals? Does this help me thrive or bring me closer to my goals? Because we're not going to feel joy in every moment, and we're not supposed to feel joy in every moment, and neither is our stuff. But if we prioritize the stuff that we have in our house by, does this help me to thrive? And think about what does that mean to thrive? That means, it means happiness, it means growth, it means contribution, it means spiritual connection, it means connection with other people. Then that is, you're going to create this magnificent space of thriving and growth and accomplishing and contribution. So that's so funny. Dana says, I agree, my house is still messy and I did her book cover to cover. Yeah, so she was on the right track. But here's the thing that most people miss with decluttering is they miss the inner work too. Because if you're still cluttered on the inside, meaning you've got all of these open wounds and you've got all of these loose ends, and you have not been setting proper boundaries with your time and your relationships and your money, all of that's going to create clutter inside of you. And if you've got some unresolved issues with people or with things, with business, that's going to create clutter. If there are things that you're avoiding, that's going to create clutter inside of you. So in addition to prioritizing and creating boundaries in your outside space, you also need to, address the inner stuff that's creating the clutter in the first place. So let's go over again what exactly that inner clutter is, because I did that kind of quick. Our inner clutter, and comment on things too. Let me know if you have some other ideas. So some things that cause inner clutter are going to be things like stuff you're avoiding. If you're avoiding something, that is taking up space inside, because there's a part of you that knows we can't just let it go. We've got to hold on to it until this person actually comes and deals with it. So what you could be avoiding is pain, like pain from the past. It could be avoiding something that you might anticipate being painful. Or could be avoiding something that's happening right now. Usually, if we're avoiding something, it's pain or it's fear. So could be something from your past, present, or future. Things that cause clutter are lack of boundaries with other people, If you're not in alignment, that is huge clutter that takes up huge space inside of you. If you're doing things for the wrong reasons, if you are saying no when you really want to say yes, if you're saying yes when you really just want to say no, those will create massive clutter inside of you. And if you've got all that stuff going on, then you're going to feel like you don't ever have enough time, you don't ever have enough energy, you're drained, and you get overwhelmed and burnt out. So that's what happens when you have too much of that inner clutter, and it's going to make you feel like too overwhelmed to clean, too overwhelmed to do like some basic tasks at home. It's going to make you feel like there's just not enough time to pay attention to those small details that it takes to keep a space uncluttered. And here's another aspect to the whole clutter thing in setting boundaries with your space is scarcity versus abundance. If you're in a place of mentally you're in a place of scarcity, then it's going to cause you to be in a place of scarcity in your outer world as well, which makes you want to hold on to things. You'll be afraid to let go of things. You'll be afraid to, pass things along. And it's going to make you want to just hold on to things for dear life because of that fear of missing out. Or, I might need this someday. So you hold on to it. Or, when you see really good deals, going and like grabbing all of it because, you never know when you could use it, or the deal's not going to be around forever. So scarcity mindset also is a huge contributing factor to the outer clutter in your world. So thank you so much for joining me today while we talk about setting boundaries in your outside and internal space. Because remember, they are both reflections of each other, and they both need to be worked on simultaneously to get the biggest impact and to have the longest lasting effects. So if you have any questions, feel free to post any questions you have. I'm going to bring this over now to our private Zoom meeting. So I'm going to just set that up here. And if you feel like after listening to this that you still have like a major problem with boundaries, or you don't know if you do, you think like maybe you do, but you just want to find out more, then just let me know and we can set up a time to chat really quickly, like 5 or 10 minutes, and I can help you get some clarity on that. You can either email me or reach out to me on Facebook. And I'm going to set up this now. And you guys, this is, like I said before, the boundaries thing is, just a tiny piece to this huge puzzle of joy and fulfillment in your business. But it's so important. It's like this is one of those minor shifts that is completely life altering. Okay, so there is the Zoom link. I will see some of you over in that private Zoom meeting now to do some Q&A on this topic. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.